in relationship, not something for permanent intended. The two countries, at the time unable or unwilling to redefine their relationship during the rapidly changing early post-Cold War era, opted for a rhetoric of strategic partnership more as an expression of expectations, future expectations for the relationship, rather than a reflection of what the current situation was then. Thirdly, there was and still is no mutual understanding of what strategic partnership meant. It meant totally different things to totally different people. In an era that was increasingly identified with complex and complicated multilateral issue-based relationships, that's the post-Cold War era, strategic partnership simply referred to a bilateral, security-based, and asymmetric relationship. Obviously, it was not possible to keep it up. It was not in tandem with the global political changes. It, I believe, simply attempted to position Turkey within the context of what, at the time, President George Bush was speaking as New World Order. The both parties have different divergent views on the nature of the changes taking place in the world. While the United States was moving towards its unilateral model, Turkey was seeking a more equal relationship. This was obviously a recipe for disaster. Moreover, the traditional importance of hard security dimension of the relationship had to make way to the rising importance of diverse issues such as energy supply security, cultural civilizational dialogue, combating religious extremism, democracy promotion, etc. The issues that we had never talked about during the Cold War between the two countries. As a result, in the absence of properly adjusted to these significant shifts in the relationship, and without the necessary structural changes in policies and mindset of the both countries, Turkish-American rhetoric on strategic partnership did not stand the first challenge that first real challenge that it encountered. That was the 2003 Iraq War. So it collapsed during and after the Iraq War. This led to one of the most turbulent eras in Turkish-American relations. I would emphasize that one of the turbulent eras, because if you look at the history of Turkish-American relationship, it's actually from one turbulence to another. The difference in 2003 was this time the United States was on the wrong side, as to say. I don't need to go into the details of the fallout after the 2003, but subsequent attempts to reposition Turkish-American relations did not work out. The recent attempt by Obama administration to call it this time model partnership is actually not producing intended results, and I think it's already fizzled out. Nobody's talking anymore the model partnership. So after alliance partnership, strategic partnership, and model partnership, we are here and still trying to find a model for the partnership of Turkey and the United States. So through the end of the Cold War, through 9/11 and also the Iraq War, Turkey and U.S. relations has lost its former core and could not yet find a new one. This is something that everybody keeps telling us. During the Cold War, Turkey and the United States based their relationship in a core issue. That was the strategic importance of Turkey and threat perceptions by the Soviet Union. So both of them gone or changed in the post-Cold War era. There is no core to base on Turkish-American relations. I would argue otherwise. I would say perhaps the problem is not there is no core anymore. Maybe the problem is in trying hard to find and tie the relationship into a simple core issue. In the post-Cold War era, there is no single core issue in any kind of relationship between any kind of two countries. It's too diverse, too complicated, and various sides affects the relationship. In today's world, where the policy making is more fluent, changes are more rapid and constant, and rapid adaptations are needed, maybe, perhaps, we should stop searching for a core concept and avoid being prisoner of history. The fact that this was true during the Cold War doesn't mean that it has always necessarily have to be. Now we might choose to go directly on the exactly opposite side. Actually, instead of searching for a simple core in the relationship, we might go other other way and try to enlarge the base of Turkish-American relations. I think this is the way out of this so many different trials of partnerships, which always try to find a core in the relationship. As such, let me finally focus on three issue areas that I think might affect the current relationship. First is both countries, I think, need an adjustment on how they see the other side. They need to reevaluate their expectations about what they can reasonably expect and obtain from the other side. This is true for both the United States and for Turkey, because two countries are different today than they were in 20 years ago. And I think the expectations are not sufficiently re-evaluated in both capitals to account for the changes in between. For the United States, it needs to understand Turkey's current elevated position in its neighborhood and make room for Turkey in its regional policy making. Turkey's growing self-confidence and sense of relative power in its region should not make the United States uneasy, and should not position Turkey as a challenger to the regional orders that the United States has been investing so much for many years. In this context, I believe the United States needs to pay more attention to Turkish needs, perceptions, and concerns in its neighborhood. It should accept that Turkey might have some legitimate concerns arising from demands on regional balances and U.S. urges to adapt them rapidly. Turkey is not known to adapt changes rapidly. We always have problems adapting. It takes time in Turkey, in contrast to the United States. Moreover, I think the United States needs to get used to dealing with an more independent-minded and assertive Turkey. This has been a streak in Turkish foreign policy thinking, transcending the different political parties and ideologies, but recently it has come about more forcefully. Now it's more forcefully pronounced in Turkey and outside Turkey. On the other hand, Turkey needs to understand that within an enlarged role in regional and world politics comes a certain level of responsibility and maturity in policy making. Gone are the days when only narrowly defined national interests can shape the policy. If Turkey wishes to have a greater role at global or regional level, then it has to start accounting for the stability of the global system and sometimes accept the burdens that it brings along. And I believe Turkey should start playing according to the rules of the game and should understand that going alone in foreign policy is not an option anymore if it wants to have more role in regional and global politics. In short, Turkey too needs to pay more attention to the U.S. priorities in its neighborhood rather than less. Second issue that I'd like to mention today is that both sides need to understand that they now have diverging agendas and perceptions about the world politics, and this will be the case in foreseeable future. There is nothing wrong. Let me repeat again. There is nothing wrong to have divergent policies, agendas, and perceptions. The problem is that both the Secretary of State here and Foreign Minister in Turkey has to work more in order to come up with carefully manage the policy differences. Neither side can now assume automatic support of the other side. It's very clear. It has been clear the last 20 years, actually. Taking the other side for granted does not work anymore. They need to work harder to bring about a common understanding every time a new issue arises.